Stonesplit Might is a slow but powerful path. The Mo Blade, clunky at first, can become an absolute powerhouse when used correctly. Its effectiveness can be taken even further the more you know your enemy's moves. And the Stormbreaker Spear complements the Mo Blade as a supportive weapon that can buff your damage and reduce the damage you take. Welcome to the Stonesplit Might or Mo Blade and Stormbreaker guide. In this video, you'll learn everything you need to know, including combos, important stats, weapon traits, and more. The main aim is to get you to hit the ground running with all the basics and fundamentals. With that being said, let's get right into it. The Stonesplit Might path can be obtained by selecting the Mo Blade as your weapon of choice near the beginning of the game after submitting your first oddity. However, you can also obtain the Mo Blade by stealing the martial art from the Well of Heaven sect. Do keep in mind, if you do choose the latter option, you will not be able to do so until after you complete the first chapter and unlock Kaifeng, which is the second area for you to explore. You will receive the Stormbreaker Spear in the mail, so you don't really need to worry about that one at all. The Mo Blade, like every weapon, has a light attack combo and a heavy attack combo. The light attack combo is suited to taking on groups of enemies, whilst the heavy attack is better for single targets. The light jump attack is nothing special, but the heavy jump attack knocks down smaller enemies and sometimes bosses. The Mo Blade is the only weapon in the game that prevents you from double jumping. No idea why, but this was changed in the CN version of the game, so I would hope that same change would make its way to global sometime soon. This weapon will feel familiar to those who have played Monster Hunter, as it uses the same charge attack gimmick as the Greatsword. The Mo Blade can charge both light and heavy attacks up to 3 times. This will consume stamina as well as your path resource called Battle Wheel. The Battle Wheel is spent after you use your level 3 charge attack. Battle Wheel can be consumed an additional time to perform the varied combo attack after a level 3 charge attack. The Battle Wheel bar will gradually recover by itself. When blocking attacks and hitting an enemy with a varied combo, you recover Battle Wheel at a faster rate. When consuming Battle Wheel for a level 3 charge attack, that attack will receive a 20% damage boost. Battle Wheel can be gained and spent in other ways on both Mo Blade and Stormbreaker Spear. Mo Blade's martial arts skill, Predator's Shield, creates a 25% HP barrier that is based off your max HP. This shield protects you from damage until it breaks or expires. It also gives you 2 Battle Wheel upon use. Mo Blade's special skill, Sunrush Gale, acts as crowd control. The attack pulls in enemies and then knocks them down. Lighter enemies will be staggered by the pull-in effect, whereas boss tier enemies will not be affected normally, as well as resisting the knockdown effect entirely. This will cost 2 Battle Wheel to use. A crucial technique you need to use frequently for the Mo Blade is animation cancelling, also known as parry cancelling. To do this, press the deflect button when performing any action and it will cancel its animation. Parry cancelling can be done with many weapons and mystic skills. The Mo Blade will do this frequently as it's a very slow weapon with long animations. Do keep in mind, if you cancel an attack too early, you will lose the benefits of its buff or stop the attack from hitting the enemy at all. For example, Stormbreaker Spear will only get its buff at the end of the charged heavy attack animation, but if you cancel it too early, you won't get it at all. The same goes for Predator's Shield or Heaven's Shift. If you cancel the animation midway, you lose all your buffs. To prevent this, limit parry cancelling to your attacks that do just damage, and not the attacks that would give you buffs. Mo Blade's general game plan will be to use the shield on cooldown and get in as many level 3 charge attacks as you can. However, some enemy attacks will deal too much damage for you to face tank. This is when it is important to remember to reduce the damage by either blocking, deflecting, dodging, or using the Stormbreaker Spear, the other half of the Stonesplit Might path that acts as a nimble and supportive backbone. The light and heavy combo for the spear have nothing of note besides the heavy combo knocking down smaller enemies, similar to its heavy jump attack. value of this weapon comes from its charged heavy attack, martial arts skill, and special skill. The martial arts skill Storm Roar is an AoE attack that taunts the enemy, reduces their damage by 20% and increases their aggro. Stormbreaker's special attack Thundershock knocks down enemies and inflicts a vulnerability debuff on them, increasing the damage they take for 12 seconds. This consumes 2 fighting will to perform. The charge heavy attack will give you the drumming beat buff at the end of the attack animation, buffing your charge attack damage by 15%. This is further boosted if used in conjunction with the Moblade's Predator Shield skill. This will trigger the perception skill for the Predator Shield, turning it into Heaven's Shift, granting you the 25% shield from the base skill, a 30% damage boost to charge attacks, and a removal of the stamina consumption from charging attack until the buff runs out. With all that put together, you can now start to see how you would use the Stonesplit Might Path at a basic level, buff and debuff with Stormbreaker Spear, and then cash in with Moblade charge attacks. A basic combo will start with Stormbreaker Spear's martial arts skill, then special attack followed by a charged heavy attack. Switch to Moblade and use this martial arts skill to activate the perception skill to gain your buffs and recover your spent fighting will. Then use a level 3 heavy charge attack and follow up with a varied attack. For multiple enemies, you'll use the Moblade special attack to gather and knock them down, then use the light charge attack. During this combo, it goes without saying you'll get hit at some point because it's slow and long. The damage reduction from Stormbreaker and the shield from Moblade will help you to reduce incoming damage. However, the effectiveness of the shield from Moblade depends entirely on how much max HP you have. The less max HP you have, the less useful the shield will be. The more you have, the more tankier you'll feel. This makes HP your #1 most important stat when using the Stonesplit Might Path, as a variety of traits and skills within your kit depend on your max HP. The Stonesplit Might Path thrives off of high max HP, but how much HP are we talking here? This can be found in the talents your weapons gain upon leveling up. For you to reach max effectiveness on your first talent for Moblade, you'll need a grand total of 75,000 HP. As of writing this script, I have around 54 to 55,000 max HP, which is 73% of the way there. You're probably seeing something a bit different on screen since I'm probably recording the footage at a different time than I'm recording. Your third talent requires 60,000 max HP to get the full bonus, which is 10% critical rate. Even the Stormbreaker Spear's talents benefit from max HP. The least amount of max HP you can be comfortable with is 60,000, as it hits all the important talents for both Moblade and Stormbreaker Spear. I'm emphasizing how much of an important role HP plays in your kit because it is easy to think this role does not provide much survivability if you pick it up early in the game. I had that experience too, but when I got more HP, it was a different story. Don't worry too much, as I said in the beginning of the video, we aren't focusing on min-maxing. You shouldn't struggle to get HP because there are many ways to do so in this game. Your main way will simply be by leveling up and equipping the right gear sets. Other ways include increasing your max HP talent, which if you are close on reaching the HP requirement, you can eat food to increase your HP for a limited time, as well as using the hot baths to increase your HP for a limited time. Increasing your guild techniques will also increase your max HP as well, but only in their respective game modes. The other attributes to focus on will be body, defense, power, and agility for your 5 attributes. Precision rate, critical rate, direct critical rate, and crit damage bonus will be the rest to focus on. At first, this sounds like you need to worry about a lot of stats, but in reality, you will mainly be focusing on critical rate and damage buffs more, as the 5 attribute buffs will naturally go up when you level, and this will be good enough. The other stats can be increased in the same way, but you'll see a larger increase by tuning your armor and Innerway breakthroughs. Once you get to level 17, you can worry more about how much stats you need or what the percentage you need to hit a good build. These are the stats you just need to be looking out for so you know ahead of time. The game will also tell you what stats are recommended for you, so you don't need to remember everything. Just go with the recommended stats the game tells you to. As well as providing you with additional stats, Innerways provide general and unique buffs. For the Stonesplit might path, using the recommended Innerways will be just fine, as they all work towards improving your survivability and enable you to counterattack when you are on the defensive. Depending on how you want to play this path, you can also mix and match other Innerways to better suit your playstyle. I would recommend always locking down these two Innerways in particular because of how impactful they are to Moblade. Exquisite Scenery, Moblade's signature Innerway, allows you to activate a special counterattack after blocking an attack. This counterattack allows you to use a level 1 charge attack without needing to charge, and can be done so every 10 seconds at tier 1. At tier 3, it changes the level 1 charge into a level 3 charge, which can then be followed up with a varied combo. The varied combo will restore the battle will spent if the attack lands. Art of Resistance increases the duration of your own HP shield by 4 seconds, and the HP it can absorb by 10%. This is huge, as you now have a HP shield worth a total of 35%, and its duration has gone from 8 to 12 seconds, matching its cooldown time. This way, you will always have a shield ready at the end of the previous shield's duration. This is also one of the only Innerways that gives you a critical rate buff when you reach the appropriate tier. Honorable mentions go to Battle Anthem, since all your best attacks are charge attacks. Breaking Point, when you get your critical rate, I would say around 50%, so you can consistently take advantage of this Innerway. Rock Solid for further damage reduction, great for multiplayer. However, it does reduce your own damage by 10%. This can later be reduced to 5% at higher tiers. The last two honorable mentions go to Morale Chant and Invigorated Warrior. I would recommend Morale Chant for general gameplay and Invigorated Warrior for more high-end gameplay. In particular, no-hit run trial challenges, since you always have the buff running due to the restriction of not getting hit, as well as a good replacement for Exquisite Scenery, because blocking is required to activate the special effect of Exquisite Scenery, which means you will have to take damage, invalidating your no-hit run. If anyone from NetEase or Everstone Studios is watching this video, it would be great if that can be changed in some way, shape or form, potentially even allowing deflecting to activate the special counterattack too. For the Stonesplit might path, mystic skills are down to preference and how they feel to you rather than there being an optimal choice. However, there are two non-negotiable mystic skills you should have. The most important of the two, Golden Body. The mystic skill gives you a shield, 15% damage reduction, and Fortify, improving your interruption resistance. Once you reach the second breakthrough, the damage reduction is increased by another 10%, and any shield that expires during Golden Body will heal you for its remaining value. At its third breakthrough, this mystic skill takes the additional 60 vitality if your max vitality is 100 or more, and grants nearby players a shield. This is quite useful multiplayer during situations where the healer is down, or better protecting your team from being wiped. Useful times to use Golden Body in multiplayer is when the team is up against unavoidable damage, known as raid-wide damage, essentially unavoidable damage that hits everybody in the party. You can then mitigate this amount of damage by using Golden Body and covering your teammates. The second mystic skill to have is Honking Havoc. This move slows down time, allowing you to squeeze in some more damage throughout the fight. Keep in mind, this is limited to single player only. Honorable mentions go to Dragon's Breath for damage, Ghost Spine to further improve your crowd control, and Guardian Palm for crowd control and damage. Dragon Head is also one I would like to recommend. However, it takes 100 vitality to use, not to mention it requires you to lose health to deal more damage at higher breakthroughs. I personally like using it as it fits the Stone Might playstyle. However, I wouldn't recommend this to everyone as it is vitality hungry and has a 2-minute cooldown, as well as requiring you to collect a lot of oddities to gain that 100 vitality in the first place. Gearing in this game is very straightforward. Just use a recommended set the game tells you to, as for Moblade, this set gives you a huge boost to your HP. The Rain Whisper weapon set will give you 10% crit damage and healing, which is further increased when you have a HP shield. The Moonflare armor set gives you a 30% chance to make a HP shield that absorbs 10% max HP, lasting 20 seconds. If you already have a HP shield active, it will restore 2% HP as well. The healing effect can only happen once every minute. The Stonesplit path in general benefits the most from the Poison Divinecraft. Since the Moblade is great at depleting the key bar already, adding poison drastically speeds up the process, as well as getting in some HP damage over time. The Divine Watercraft is great if you want to focus on a tankier approach. You reduce enemy damage and ignore enemy shields with the Divine Watercraft equipped. Fire doesn't really give you much of an edge over the other two, since the Moblade and Stormbreaker's Spear, for that matter, are not fast weapons. You won't be able to take the full advantage of the explosion ability at level 2. So my personal recommendations are Poison over everything and Water Divinecraft if you really want to take a bit more of a tankier approach. Some enemies in the game will need to be approached differently due to how slow the Stonesplit might path can be. For example, the River Master's attacks are slow enough, letting you be more aggressive and charge your Moblade in between some of his attacks, whereas the Wolf Maiden, Tian Ying and River Master Jr. won't give you much of an opening due to how fast and frequent their attacks are, forcing you to play more defensively. Experiment with what feels like the best approach for you, as this game is very much a feeling kind of game over a picking the best option or meta kind of game. I prefer to be more defensive on faster enemies until I feel comfortable being aggressive. An example of this would be in my Tian Ying no-hit video for playing patient and defensively, and my River Master video for playing aggressively. And that's all the basics you need to know about the Stonesplit might path. If you have any other questions or even tips of your own, drop them down in the comments below. I'd love to see them. And if this video was helpful in any way, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. More Where Winds Meet content is on the way. Until then, have a good one and take it easy. Peace.